Welcome into the Wyoming Valley Conference Preview Podcast. You shut the door real quick. It is week number 5. After this week, believe it or not, we'll be halfway done with the high school football regular season. And for some teams, it's been a great regular season. For a lot of other teams, especially in this conference, it has been an awful regular season. But it's only halfway through the season. Unfortunately, I've had to be with this guy for half a season. How you been?
Yes, he has.
How you been today so far?
I have been absolutely splendid. I got caught in an intense game of follow the leader that would put the Penguins of the Great White North to shame on the highway coming in this evening. But other than that, it's been a very splendid day, my friend.
Mm-hmm. Very splendid. I've had a very average day. It's the same as yesterday, probably the same as tomorrow. But,
yeah. And again, we work in high school football, so that's how that is.
So let's get right into it. I don't expect this to be a long hour podcast just because there's only 7 games. Because a lot of teams are playing each other, which I went on the website and like, why is there only 7 games? And then I'm like, I'm an idiot. Teams play each other. It's that time of year. So let's get into our storylines. I got 3 big storylines. I have some. Quincy has 3 as well. I'll start out with Jaden Shedlock, who's out for the year. Unfortunately, once again, another bad injury for the Crestwood quarterback, and it was a promising season entering, potentially going out, and they could put themselves in a position where they can contend for a conference title and kind of get back to the way that 2022 went. Did not happen. He's out for the year with, I believe, an ACL injury. So that's unfortunate. He's still got another year to come back next year, and we'll see if he can battle the injury and come back stronger. But definitely hurts when a player gets hurt.
Definitely.
And then if they do it again the following year, it kind of adds insult to injury in the literal way.
Yeah, in the literal way.
So that's it. I'll see what Crestwood's got. I don't expect all that much. For Crestwood, they do take on Nanticoke, so it should not be too stressful this week, but we'll have to see because that really is their only offense. What do you got?
My biggest one, and the one I feel like is most interesting, is we talked on the show a few weeks ago about how Hazleton is right there. They just need to put a few things together, and I feel like they finally did that. There was a little bit of a quarterback bait and switch. They would put Freddie Corrado, their sophomore, more of a traditional pocket passer, in for a few plays, and then bring in the guy that you saw last Friday night, Austin Wilson. But they've finally put themselves. Well, it's just been just Wilson the last 2 weeks, and they've won 2 football, albeit against a struggling Berwick. And who was the other one?
They beat West Scranton.
Scranton and Berwick.
Listen, they have 2 wins, but the 2 opponents they played combined records 0-8. So
Definitely, but from a 2-8 season last year,
yeah,
they're showing some potential. We'll say that.
Yeah, they have some potential. The quarterback last week, Wilson, was pure scrambler, and he was good at it, to give him credit. He took an 86-yard run right up the gut, or not up the gut, but down the left sideline for a big touchdown. Didn't throw the ball all that often, but he didn't need to, and Hazleton took a 27-10 win. And, I mean, look at it. They got Wyoming Valley West this week as well.
Yeah.
So this could definitely be a little bit of a win streak. For the Hazleton Cougars. It's a schedule that kind of evens or lightens up a little bit down the stretch. So, yeah, that's a good one there. They get to 2-2. We'll see where you have them on our top 5 rankings. I do have them on the rankings. We'll see how high they go. Dallas and the Mountaineers. Holy cow. They finally win a football game, which was, surprising to say the least. 15-0 last year. I don't know if they were trying to win games this year.
I honestly don't know from what I saw.
But they finally have a game won, and taking that down a good Wilkes-Barre team. I do think they can start to get better down the stretch of the season. I don't think this team could go out and win the district title. Potentially, it's a weak district title this year, but this is still, I think, a top 3 team in the conference. Not saying much. I think that kind of speaks to how bad the conference has been, not how good Dallas has been. But anyway, Dallas finally gets the win from 0-3. Where last year they really didn't have to struggle in any of their games. They finally get a win. We can stop talking about them.
My second thing I'd like to discuss tonight, is kind of the same on your part, Dallas. But it's crazy. This is crazy to say. It's kind of a piggyback. It's not ridiculous to say that they might finish under 500 this year.
It's not, yeah.
They
already have 3 losses, so there's not much.
I know, but
I don't think that's a hot take.
I know, but who would have thought that? Say at the beginning of this year when we were getting ready for another season of high school football, who would have had Dallas being under 500?
Yeah, they're not going under 500, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately, but they have Pittston, North Pocono, Valley West.
Oh yeah,
Crestwood,
they're definitely not going under 500.
So they're probably going to win out and go 7-3. So you couldn't be farther from the truth there.
Anyway.
I
apologize. I did not look at the rest of their schedule properly.
Throw that out the window. But I agree with your first point. They lose 3 straight games, and it was kind of like, okay, the whole season was up. Jersey Shore, good team, lost. Who cares, right?
Yeah.
Wyoming area, good team, lost. Okay, a little bit concerned. You guys lost by 17 to Abington Heights. Well, what the hell? What the heck is happening here?
Yeah, like where?
And now they finally got the win over Wilkes-Barre. Not a convincing win, only winning by 8 points. That's pretty surprising as well. The final one, I've had them as my storyline basically every time. Berwick loses again. They go to 0-4. Hazleton, they were leading Hazleton, I believe, at the end of the first half. They were up 10-7. Couldn't hold on, to say the least. Austin Wilson really was able to show his legs in the game. Berwick turned the ball over way too much. They're starting their number one receiver, Billy Hansen, at quarterback, which their quarterback situation is the real problem. They scored 10 points last week. They have scored 17 offensive points this year. Yeah. We're in week 4, so that's 4.25 points per game. You're not going to win games.
No.
Scoring 4.25 points per game, and the
not.
defense isn't particularly great. It's better than last year. Some teams you can say, okay, this is their problem. They can't blah, blah, blah. They can't defend their run. Berwick is not glaring at one problem. They just are pretty not good at a bunch of different problems, and we'll have to see if they can turn around against Hanover, which this is like the tipping point for Berwick. Like, if you cannot beat Hanover at home and they're going to go to 0-5, I don't know if anybody would ever show up to a game again. Yeah. So it is like, it's getting bad. This is one of the low points of the program. This is the first time since 1974 they have been 0-4. Wow. So that was George Curry's 3rd year. They went 2-9 that year. So 1974, it's 2024. That's 50 years.
Yeah.
Big half century. Big 50.
Yeah, good old half century up in here.
The last time Berwick started out 0-4, I don't think they've ever started out 0-5, maybe in like 1897. But,
yeah, maybe.
I wasn't alive there. Is that even football? Are we calling football played in 1897 football?
I think that's more or less rugby.
It's just glorified rugby. So you had to pass the ball with 2 hands. You couldn't throw it forward. Like, not football at all.
No, that definitely wouldn't classify that as football.
Yeah, and they were playing against, in college, Michigan has 1,000 wins, right?
Yeah.
But if you go back and look at some of their wins, they played against the Physicians of Chicago.
Yeah, the Physicians School of Chicago.
Yeah, the Physicians. They're playing against high schools. They're playing against St. Mary's School of the Blind.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Well, on that point, I know this isn't a college football-oriented show, but at what point are you, like, discounting wins from before a certain time?
Listen, I don't know if you know, but back in the day, the Chicago School of Physicians was a powerhouse. No.
I think we should give up football and take up comedy.
This is Chicago School of Physicians. Like, how does that call even work? Like, hello, I'm the athletic director. Well, you didn't have phones. They sent their messenger out.
Telegrams.
Yeah, I'm the athletic director of Michigan. I know you guys study medicine. You just want to go play a football game this Saturday?
Yeah, why not, right?
We'll give you a couple bucks.
Yeah, go out there, have some fun with the boys from Medicine 101.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
Anyway, they can study the signs of brain injury.
Yeah,
you learn some stuff there. Your final storyline.
My final story is pretty vanilla, but it is what it is. Wyoming area. That's a very good football team.
What?
It's just like last week they're very complete, and I know it's just shouting out Wyoming area for being the team that they are. It's like we knew coming into the year that team was going to be very good, but I don't think people sing their praise enough to be perfectly honest with you.
Okay.
So it's kind of vanilla, but still I feel like it gets I feel like it's a good point. It's like they need their praises sung more.
All right, so those are our storylines. A little hint of Chicago School of Physicians in there.
Yeah.
You never know when the Chicago School of Physicians just gets brought up in conversation.
Exactly.
It happens. At the dinner table, you're talking about politics, and then boom, you're into a rant about the Michigan versus Chicago School of Physicians game.
Exactly.
As happens a lot of times. Let's go into our next segment and see what we can dive into. What weird rabbit holes at the end of this will probably be conspiracizing against the assassination of JFK.
Probably, yeah.
But let's go to our top 5 teams in the conference. Top 5 in the Wyoming Valley Conference. This is a weak top 5, if we're going to be completely honest.
Yeah.
But it's still a top 5. So let's start at number 5. I'll go with the Pittston Patriots, 2-2. They get back to 500 after, I believe, a rough start. There's not much to say in terms of this team's going to go far, but they do get to 2-2, right? They get to 2-2 after going 0-2, albeit against Greater Nanticoke and Wyoming Valley West. But I have a saying that at least applies in the NFL. I don't know much in high school football because high school football, the gap is you can't even see the bottom of my hand.
No.
Or the top of my. It's as large as I can make this screen.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I say any blowout win is a good win.
I agree with that sentiment.
I don't care if you're playing the Carolina Panthers in the NFL. If you blow them out, proves that you're good.
Yeah, you're succeeding in the game of football.
I don't know if that's the same thing for high school, because again, the gap is as high as wide as you can make it. But if you get able to get 2 blowout wins, especially on the road, any win on the road is good at any level of football.
Certainly.
They've scored 55 points and 47 points in back-to-back weeks. Listen, do I think they're a great football team? No, they're a mediocre team, but listen, there's only 12 teams in the conference. We're picking the top 5, and this is a down year for the Wyoming Valley Conference. So it's not like this is a prestigious list. I also don't have Crestwood in there with the loss of Shedlock, and I believe they're 1-3 right now. So
yeah, they did fall to 1-3.
I do not have them in my top 5. A little bit of spoiler. So if I had an honorable mention, which I didn't, I would put Crestwood. So here's your number 5.
Same here. The Pittston Patriots.
He's a sheep.
I am a sheep.
Following the freaking lead all the time.
I mean, you said it. You said it best. This is a very down year for the Wyoming Valley Conference, and we're trying to pick a top 5 out of 12 football teams.
We should make it the top 3 next.
We probably should.
Yeah. Moving on, number 4. I had this team, I think, as high as 1 or 2. I think I had them at 2. Wilkes-Barre is 1-3 right now. Good enough 1-3 team. They've had a gauntlet of a schedule. I believe. Were you on the week 1 preview episode?
I do believe I was.
Okay.
Yes.
I said they had to win 2 games to go out of the gauntlet that they had. They had Stroudsburg, Whitehall, Dallas, and
Valley View,
and they were able to beat Whitehall, which kind of looked like maybe they could make a run. It seemed to be fool's gold in the end, but this is still a solid enough team, and after the gauntlet that they put themselves in early, I believe that the back half of the schedule should be able to soften up for them, and kind of like what we saw with Dallas, be able to make a run. I think Wilkes-Barre area should be able to feast off of the back half, which is
they should be.
Scranton, Hazleton, Pittston, Valley West, Crestwood, and Williamsport. If there was spreads in high school football, which I do not believe there are.
Not legal spreads, at
least.
I'll
be behind the bleachers every Friday night giving 12-year-olds allowed to bet. But they should be favored in every one of those games. Will they win all of them? Who knows? They're my number 4 team.
I'm gonna go against you here. We're gonna play the potential game solely because I like what's ahead for the Wilkes-Barre Wolfpack. I'm gonna put Hazleton at 4.
Listen, I'll get into a discrepancy with you there. Are we ranking on who's going to finish at week 10 or ranking right now?
Fair point. You're right. Wilkes-Barre. We'll put Wilkes-Barre at 4.
That happens in college football as well. Florida was not ranked. Are they a top 25 team? Sure. But at the beginning of the season. But they had a tough schedule, and people were saying, well, they're going to lose here, here, and here. You can't rank them lower
You're right.
until they actually lose.
You are right about that.
You could put them in there.
No.
You could make a different case. I agree. Listen, I have Hazleton higher than Wilkes-Barre. You can make a different case, but your case can't be, well, I think they're going to win.
You're right.
Next couple of weeks.
You're right.
If you want to say some other stupid stuff like Lake Lehman's are better,
Can you be quiet, Mason?
you can go and do that. But you can't just say, "Oh, they're going to win next week, so I got to put them up now."
Yeah,
put them up when they win.
Yeah, you're right. Premature higher ranking in my part. So therefore, number 4, give me the Wilkes-Barre Wolfpack.
Another sheep move right there. I could tell him 2 + 2 = 5. I'd be like, good point. Yep, I agree. I agree. Yeah,
quiet.
good point. My number 3 team is the Hazleton Cougars. Hazleton Cougars. I always get Hazleton. I usually think they're the Hazleton Comets for some reason. They're my number 3 team. They're 2-2. Schedule eases up, but they were able to beat West Scranton. They're able to beat Berwick. In those 2 games, they allowed just 13 points. The defense is legit. They picked off Berwick for a touchdown, I believe, last week, if my memory serves, but I do have a little bit of dementia. What'd you say? So the 3 signs of dementia, by the way.
Yeah.
You have trouble falling asleep. You go crazy. I forget the third.
Yeah, who knows?
I forget the third, because I have dementia. It's a joke.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
So, Hazleton's my number 3 team. Are they better than Wilkes-Barre area? Probably no. If they played right now, I would probably pick Wilkes-Barre. If they played on a neutral site tomorrow, I would pick Wilkes-Barre by probably a touchdown or 2. But that's not how rankings work. It's about who you beat, right? It's not about who's better, because there could be say Holy Redeemer's 10-0 and Dallas is 0-10. Who's better? Probably Dallas.
Probably, yeah.
But you can't rank them higher just because they don't have the resume. So Hazleton's my number 3 team in the Wyoming Valley Conference. Freaking sheep. You got the lion and the sheep over here.
Yeah, okay. I think we, like you said earlier, we need to change our ranking system to top 3 instead of top 5.
Yeah, just put 2 honorable mentions, because, we should rank the top 11 teams in a 12-team conference.
We should.
And just jip out whoever's 12th. Get them mad. Let's move on to the top 2 teams. This should be no difference anywhere. Dallas really shouldn't be at number 2, but I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt with the tough games that they played. In the first 2 weeks, the third game against Abington Heights wasn't really that tough, and they still lost. So credit to the Abington Heights Comets. But Dallas is still the number 2 team. If you would have told me, I had Dallas at number 2 entering the season. If you'd have told me they'd be 0-3, I'd still have them at 2. I'd say, is the sky freaking falling? It's not. But this is still the second best team, I guess. Do they really deserve it? No. It's just a weak conference and a weak year with the different things. With Wilkes-Barre having a tough schedule, Crestwood's quarterback going down. So I have the Dallas Mountaineers. Excuse me, number 2.
Give me the Mountaineers. You're exactly. There's not much to differ on here. Am I wrong?
Mm-hmm. And at number 1, I have the Berwick Bulldogs. No, we have the Wyoming area. Wyoming area Warriors are the number 1 team, and I'll continue to give myself a pat in the back until I'm wrong, and then I shut up and won't bring it up because, when I'm right, I got to let everybody know when I'm wrong.
It's kind of like me with Lake Lehman in week 2.
Yeah. But I did have this team as the number 1 team in the conference, and they've proven me right so far. The Western Wayne game continues to age better in terms of it's a quality loss. They use that a lot in college football. Yeah. It's a quality loss.
That's what they used to drip Florida State out of a playoff
Well,
spot
Florida
last
State
year.
shouldn't have made the playoffs. You see what they're doing right now.
Yeah,
Is that
wrong.
A playoff team to me?
No, Jordan Travis was a lot more to that team than we may have gave him credit for.
G.J. Uiagalelei should go work at a McDonald's.
He should.
That's the only thing elsewhere. So we've gone to college, Chicago School of Physicians, and D.J. Uiagalelei learning Chinese pretty soon.
Probably. He'll have to play for the Shanghai Sharks.
He might have to. Who's your number 1 team in the conference?
The Wyoming area Spartans. What's understood doesn't need to be said. I wish I could differ from you at all so we can spark a little bit of dialogue here. But
the only thing you're wrong about, they're not the Spartans. They're just the Warriors.
Yeah,
so
sorry, the Warriors. That's okay. It's almost as bad as me calling Crestwood the Chargers.
Yeah, the Crestwood Chargers and the Wyoming area Spartans. A Warrior is a Spartan.
I have dementia too.
Okay. What'd you say?
Yeah, what'd you say? What's my name again?
All right. So, yeah, you have the Wyoming area Spartans at number 1. Dallas Mountaineers is number 2. What would be your name for Dallas?
If I was naming
Yeah, if
them.
you're just naming them.
If I'm naming them for fun, probably the Titans. I don't know why.
I would go something original like the Dallas Cowboys. Any teams like that?
Yeah.
Any teams?
I don't think there
No,
are. Wait, who's Jerry Jones? I'm not sure.
I don't know who Jerry Jones is.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of Jerry Jones, 1957. People will get that. Anyway, let's move on to Dallas and Pittston as we get our game picks. There's only 7 games this week, so that gives a little bit more leeway to talk about BS, including Jerry Jones attending a white supremacist rally in 1957.
We're going to get taken off YouTube.
It's just, I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying it happened. It's a known fact.
That is a known fact.
I was there. Not in the crowd, but I was watching in 1957, saying, wow, this guy might be the next owner of the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I just kind of had that feeling. Anyway.
Yeah, any hoozle.
Dallas and Pittston. The Dallas Mountaineers. What's the Pittston team's name?
The Pistons.
No, what is like their actual name? Do you know
the
what they're-
Patriots.
Okay.
Pittston Patriots.
I was going to say. I just didn't know if you are trying to. How many teams you actually know that are just hiding in the rough.
You could quiz me. I'll get them at least 90% of them right.
Yeah, interesting. Well, you got 2 wrong. Crestwood Chargers and Dallas and.
Well, the Crestwood
Wyoming
was
Spartans.
the first week I was on
I know,
the
but
pod.
there's 12 teams.
You're
you
right.
get 2 wrong. That's 86.67%. So.
Hey, that still gets me in the Hall of Fame.
In what sport? If it's
Baseball.
baseball, you're the greatest baseball player of all time.
You're right.
80, and even in football, pass percentage, basically everything. Anyway. Pittston and Dallas. I think Dallas is able to run away with the Pittston Patriots here early. I don't think it's that close. Maybe it's closer on the scoreboard
Then
than
the
looks.
game.
Sure, maybe it's like 28-0 Dallas. Pittston gets some garbage time scores. I'll go 28-14 Mountaineers.
35-7 Mountaineers.
All right. Let's move on to Hazleton and Wyoming Valley West. Wyoming Valley West cannot win a football game to save their lives. We'll see if they can do it this week. Hazleton couldn't the first 2 weeks they get back. I think this is going to be the 3rd consecutive blowout for the Hazleton Cougars, and they might be able to move the rankings higher. I doubt it. Anyway, I think Hazleton wins 31-7. I always hate picking field goals in high school because it's like a rarely rare. Because there's like a 5-yard margin where you'd rather kick or go for it. Anyway, the score really doesn't matter. The fact is, the Hazleton Cougars are going to come through and beat the Wyoming Valley West Spartans.
I will tell you with 100%.
Pick of the other team. Go ahead. Okay. Okay.
Hazleton.
You were setting it up like you were like, I'll gonna tell you, you're gonna not believe this. I'm gonna pick the heavily favored team.
There is a very good chance that this game's over and decided with by halftime.
Well, that's not true because every game ends as the 4th quarter ends.
Well, but we might be hitting mercy rule by halftime.
Okay. Why are you hitting mercy rule? What do he do to you?
5 touchdowns.
Bang! Hitting them freaking mercy rule. Hitting them mercy rule. Anyway, Chris Brown.
Yeah, 1-2 Chris Brown.
Crestwood and Nanticoke. We'll have to see where Crestwood goes. Jaden Shedlock is out. I don't know their backup QB. We'll see what he can do. But I don't think it really does matter. I do think the Crestwood Comets win. I don't care if Shedlock's playing or not.
Yeah, it doesn't much matter whether Shedlock's playing or not. They're at Nanticoke. It's always at least semi-difficult to play on the road, but this is definitely the place you want to play on the road if you are.
Yeah, listen, I don't want to sound like an old Debbie Downer. I really do not care at all about home or road in high school.
You don't?
I don't really think it matters. The biggest thing I think matters is the field you're playing on if you're used to that field. Because if you go to a high school game, they do not get loud, okay? They might make a little bit of noise here and there, but no QB's in the freaking silent count. Hey, what is this? What is this?
That's a fair point, but I feel like, I was close with a lot of the guys that played football at my high school, and I've been to a lot of high school football games. I feel like that can play into your psyche a little bit. Like you come into the game, expecting something to go wrong in one fashion or another.
Yeah, that's it. But in terms of the on-field thing, when it's third down, fans are not going,
No, you're right about that. But I feel like it triggers something within like the mental game more than anything.
Okay, I don't know. Not a psychologist. Anyway, I can change his mind pretty good though.
No, you cannot.
So I've had Hazleton on Wilkes-Barre on everything so far. Let's move on. Speaking of Wilkes-Barre, they take on West Scranton. Wilkes-Barre by 28 points, 35-7. Pack. I don't know why I said that. Wolf Pack are going to win. They might be the best Wolf Pack in the world right now because NC State kind of sucks at football.
Yes, they do.
So, yeah, I'll go Wilkes-Barre here, 35-7, pretty handily over the West Scranton Invaders, which is not the best name. I'm not in favor of that name. The Invaders.
No.
I'm going to invade your freaking turf. Like, what?
Yeah.
Anyway, we're not here to rank the names. We're here to pick the games.
We should rank the names for a segment of one
Yeah,
of our future
okay.
shows.
You can do that on Quincy Piper's Goofy Goober show. Anyway, what do you got?
Well, go Pack, go. Not to quote the Green Bay Packers.
Go Pack, go. That's just not even with the Wolf Pack.
Wilkes-Barre Wolfpack.
Nope. If they say that, that should be not allowed. Like these people. I guess there's a school called Upper St. Clair.
There
in
is?
high school in Pennsylvania somewhere. People call it USC.
Are you serious? Yeah.
You're not USC.
No.
USC is the University of Southern California. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go watch a USC game. Oh, my God, you're in Pennsylvania. How are you gonna get to US? No, I'm gonna watch Upper St. Clair. That's not USC.
That should be copyright infringement.
It should be. It should be. I hate when people like, it's just. You know who also thinks they're USC?
Who?
South Carolina. University of South Carolina. You're not USC.
No,
You're not USC. Win more than 4 games in a college football season and maybe be called USC.
Are they capable of that? I've never seen it.
I don't think so. Anyway, Lake Lehman takes on Holy Redeemer. Holy Redeemer. I was going to try to make something funny out of that. Nothing came up.
No, nothing came up.
What's not funny is the Lake Lehman win by 32 points, 35-3. Lake Lehman and the Black Knights.
Yeah, like Billy Splain said a few weeks ago on this pod, it's really tough for those Catholic schools up there. Give me the Knights that have become my team, both while communicating with him and PA Football News photographer Jared Samuel. Go Knights. Well, correction, not go Knights. Knights by at least 4 or 5 touchdowns.
As Steph Curry would say, night. Different spelling, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Wyoming area against the Tunkhannock Tigers. I went up to an event up there. I forget what it was. And the PA guy was not from the area. He's like, Tunkhannock? Hancock or something.
John Hancock? What?
Like, okay. And he just couldn't get it out. So anyway, Tunkhannock takes on Wyoming area and the Spartans. Just kidding. Warriors. I don't care what their name is. I don't care if they're Billy Bob's Spartan Show. They're going to win by a lot. 49-7. Mercy rule. Spartans.
Yeah. I mean, this is a very weak slate of conference games.
This is not great at all.
No. I wish I could disagree with you here, but there's not much to disagree with.
This actually might be the best game of the weekend, just in terms of closeness.
Yeah.
Not in terms of great play. Berwick and Hanover, both teams are 0-4. Listen, I don't know if you could try to build artificial hype into a game. I really can't with this one. Both teams are 0-4, but I think this is going to be a close enough game. I do think Berwick gets the first win of the season. I predicted Berwick to win last week. No, I did not. I picked Hazleton.
We didn't.
We weren't here last week, but
Yeah.
in my mind, I picked
Yeah, we didn't have a
the
podcast.
Hazleton Cougars. I'm going to pick Berwick close. This kind of feels like this is the must-win game because the schedule, as it's been a abysmal start for Berwick, but they went 3-7 last year. Okay, and if it would be kind of, I think, a success if they can match 3-7. They have Hanover this week. Then they play Nanticoke which is a winnable game, and Tunkhannock. All 3 games of those are at home. You get the 3 and 7, all right, which would be the same as last year, and see what happens in the postseason. So, I think that's the easiest pathway. But they have guaranteed losses against Wyoming area, Williamsport, and Selinsgrove. So this team is 0-4 right now. I think you would chalk it up better to be 0-7 because they're not winning Wyoming area, Williamsport, or Selinsgrove. But they could beat Hanover, and the way this conference goes, they beat Hanover, they might be cracking into our top 5 here pretty soon.
That's crazy.
Which would be something interesting. So I do think Berwick wins that game close.
Not to quote the great Lee Corso from college football.
Not so fast.
Not so fast, my friend.
Okay.
Hanover by a touchdown.
Wow.
I think Berwick's issues. Don't get me wrong. You said it yourself. They're not a very good football team, but I feel like this week will act as the catalyst, like the wake up call. Like the culture needs to change, because
it's. The wake-up call should have happened.
It should have.
Lake Lehman.
It should have.
This is the week they're going to wake up. This is the week you're going to wake up. This feels like this.
Maybe I'm an optimist, but part of me wants to pick Berwick here, but the Berwick faithful are gonna have to wait one more week. Give me Hanover.
You think? Wow.
Hanover by a touchdown in a game that anybody there is going to regret the price of admission for.
The whole $3.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's only 7 games on the schedule. Is there any other things that you have on your mind?
No, none
related
on my mind.
To high school or related to anything. You see, you got the Notre Dame thing.
I do.
Who do they play this week?
They have Miami of Ohio.
Oh boy, another MAC team coming into town.
Exactly. So that means one thing to anybody out there listening that may or may not partake in games of chance. Pick a Miami of Ohio to cover the spread.
What's the spread?
14.5.
No, it's not.
I think it's
14.
Like 14 or 21.
That's low.
I know, but
no way it's only 14.5.
14 or 21.
Well, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
14 or 21. Let's see. Miami, Ohio, Notre Dame, 28. So
still.
Never trust you with 14 or, yeah.
Well, never trust me. Yeah, you're right.
14 or 21 or 28 or 35. Or
never trust Marcus Freeman against a team in the MAC at home.
Yeah, I guess so. Especially, they lost. Marshall's not in the MAC, but they lost to Marshall a couple years ago.
Oh my God, that game was by far the worst day of my teenage memory.
Okay.
That was the falling to 0-2 after the 10
lost to Ohio State, right?
Well, yeah, but there was the 10 men on the field touchdown.
Oh.
Where I was wanting Marcus Freeman gone then, and here we sit 3 years later.
Yeah, I like Marcus Freeman. I think he's good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What are your thoughts on Penn State as you head up there this week?
They should win by a lot.
They should.
We'll see how high the scoreboard can go. I've been trying to be nice all week about Kent State. They're the worst team in college football.
Yeah, by far.
And there's 134 teams in there. And that's saying a lot because we've had a lot of teams come up from FCS that are doing better than Kent State. Yeah. I think the second worst team is Temple, who is really bad. But Kent State is the worst. They can't win football games. They're not going to be close against Penn State. Guess the spread for that one. Just take a guess.
5 touchdowns?
49.5.
Wow.
Just for the spread. The largest college football spread ever is like 54. So pretty close to.
Yeah. There was a game like that. Would have been like a few years ago now, but wasn't there a game with like a really big spread like that somebody got upset?
The question is, has there been an upset? You're asking me, has there been an upset with a big spread? Yes.
No.
2 weeks ago.
No, there was like a really iconic game I'm thinking of that the spread was something ostentatious like that. What was the 54-point spread?
Clemson played some FCS team when they had like Trevor Lawrence.
Wofford or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. The most famous upset's App State, Michigan in 2005.
Yeah.
When App State went into Michigan and beat them on a blocked field goal and whatnot.
Nobody expected that.
Yeah, I wasn't alive, so I couldn't make a pick. But anyway, that'll do it for this episode, folks. Have a great week. Not first off, we're 34 and a half minutes into this thing. Where are you going to be this week, son?
I will be in Cedar Cliff High School watching the Harrisburg Cougars take on the Colts. Where will you be this week?
The Indianapolis Colts are playing?
No, the Cedar Cliff Colts.
Okay. Where's that at?
It's in Camp Hill.
Where's Camp Hill?
Well, you know where Harrisburg is?
Yeah.
Near there.
You're going all the way down to Harrisburg,
I go home on the weekends.
Oh, okay. Where do you live down there?
I'm in Mifflintown, Pennsylvania, which is about 40 minutes south of State College and 40 minutes north of Harrisburg. It's nestled right in the middle.
Okay, nestled right there. All right. You like Nestle stuff?
Yeah, their chocolate milk I am quite fond
All right. I'll be in Berwick and Hanover, probably unfortunately, but next week I'll be at Danville Southern, which is better than a Berwick game. So anyway, that'll do it for this episode of the Wyoming Valley Conference Preview Podcast. We will see you whenever we do.